Thank you, Scott. I am really excited to be here to talk about one of my favorite topics that's confronting higher education, and that's affordability and accessibility, and specifically in the area of the cost of textbooks. I think we all share a concern that we want to make sure our students can afford and have access to course materials. And I know in my position, I am confronted at the beginning of every semester with emails from students, and they typically ask one of three things. I can't afford the cost of my textbooks this semester. What do I do? Or, I can't afford to buy my books until maybe several weeks into the semester. How do I keep up? Or, can I get by if I buy an older edition of the text? Am I still going to be okay? And I think we know that those three choices, they limit students' ability to be as successful as they possibly could be in a class. They're starting out without their textbooks. They're trying to make it through without their textbooks for the whole semester. Or they're operating with an older edition that isn't updated and therefore impacts their ability to be successful. And so our college has really been starting to look at how can we address this. So that common question that I get all the time, can I get through this course without buying my books, without reading my course materials? When the university made this transition from quarters to semesters, our college made the decision to totally overhaul our curriculum. We wanted to rebuild it from the ground up. Why not be more stressed out than we already were? So we went through that, and in doing that, for the first several years of the semester curriculum, we surveyed our undergraduate students at the end of each semester. And we asked them a lot of questions about our new course sequencing. Were you finding issues of redundancy? Talk to us about rigor. Talk to us about course scheduling. One of the questions that we asked was about satisfaction with the textbooks for each course, and also asked about how much time they were spending reading and studying for each course. And what we got back from them consistently at the end of every semester was that almost a quarter of our students said, I didn't read. And I didn't read because I couldn't afford to buy the book. We have a lot of first-generation students in the College of Social Work who struggle financially. We have a lot of students who are food insecure. We have about 35% of our students who are first-gen who oftentimes have to choose between buying food and buying books and other course materials. So it's a major issue in our college. So when we got those surveys back and started to recognize that almost a quarter of our students, they were not reading. Not because they didn't want to, because they couldn't afford the textbooks. And yes, we put those textbooks on closed reserve at libraries, but they can't get there. They're working, they have kids, they can't get babysitters, they can't go spend 4 hours reading a book at the library. So we were really looking at, what do we do? And when we looked at the cost of textbooks each semester, our undergrad students, if they were buying, most of our books were kind of $200 range. So they're buying books, and if they're buying them new, they're spending almost $800. If there buying them used, they're spending almost $500. And if they're renting, they're still paying $350. And they couldn't do that. And so we were starting to think about, what do we do? How can we be innovative? We've been working on going textless in some of our classes, so creating our own course materials, which is very labor intensive, or looking at free open educational resources and starting to build course materials in that way. But we were lucky enough to be approached by the university to pilot what's called CarmenBooks, so digital textbooks. And they know that I think I'll try anything that helps our students in terms of affordability and accessibility issues, so we're an easy target. So the university has partnered with publishers, and we are able to offer our students with these digital textbooks cost savings of 70 to 80% off the list price of a book. So we piloted 2 course sections last autumn, autumn 17, an undergraduate online ethics course and a graduate level face-to-face course. And about 50 students last autumn, and we were able to save them about $10,000. We're doing the same thing this semester, same 2 course sections, an ethics undergrad online course and a master's face-to-face class. A little bit more students, just under 70 students, and saving them almost $12,000. In the spring, we're going to take a deeper dive. So we are going to pilot this digital textbook initiative across all 5 campuses. Our undergrad program is offered in its entirety on not only Columbus campus, but Lima, Marion, Mansfield, and Newark. So we are going to hopefully hit about 1,400 to 1,500 students in the spring. We're doing it in 9 courses, 5 undergrad and 4 master's, so it's about 56 course sections, I believe. And we're gonna save these students almost $200,000. So we are excited to see what things look like in the spring. Obvious benefits are the cost. So you saw how much we were saving our students. But other benefits to think about too, accessibility. So these textbooks, they are embedded in Carmen. So once a student enrolls in a course, that textbook is seamlessly there. They have access before the first day of class. And the other thing that was really important to me is they have access throughout their tenure as a student at the university. So their access to that textbook doesn't go away at the end of each semester. They have it the whole time they're a student. And for us, our students take a national licensure exam, so they need to study. So this will give them the opportunity to be able to go back to their course materials as they're getting ready towards graduation to study for their licensure exam and still have access. The other piece is cost. And the university was gracious enough to pay when we piloted the autumn 17 and autumn 18 CarmenBooks pilot. Our students didn't have to pay at all. The university paid for them because we were testing things out. Spring is the first time that our students are actually going to have to pay. And I was just looking at the majority of our spring books that we're piloting as undergrad, most of them right around the $200 range. Our students are only going to have to pay between kind of $23 and $29 per book. So pretty amazing. So the way that the registrar has set this up for us, students, the cost of their textbooks, these digital textbooks, it's a course fee that's on their student account. So that's how they're gonna get their payment done. The other piece that was important to me is participation is optional. I am still, I confess, someone, if I'm gonna read a book, I'm gonna do it with a print book because I like that. And I think some of our students are still like that. Definitely more at the master's level than the undergrad. I think our undergrads embrace digital. They're all carrying around their phone and their iPad and their laptop. But the nice thing is students can choose to opt out. They do not have to, if they enroll in a CarmenBooks pilot course in the spring, they don't have to purchase the digital course text. They can opt out and go get their book if they want a print book. Anytime a student enrolls in one of our Carmen course pilot classes in the spring, they automatically get an email from the registrar saying, hey, you enrolled in this pilot. CarmenBook, digital textbook is accessible to you. They get a link to a website. They can read more about it. They get information about how they can opt out if they want to. So great opportunity for them to make the choice that works the best for them. The other really common feedback I've gotten from students is they're really excited to have the opportunity to have all of their course materials in one place, on their phone, on their iPad, on their laptop. They don't have to drag around their textbooks, so it's all in one place. The other piece I think that's really important to think about is accessibility in terms of students can highlight, they can search, they can annotate on these digital texts. They can resize the font so they can make it bigger or smaller, whatever they need. Our instructors can share information. They can share notes. They can highlight things with this so that the students see this. And the obviously, it's environmentally friendly. We're not printing a lot. So those were the other textbook advantages that I wanted people to think about when they think about these digital e-texts. So what's next for us? As I said, we're going to really do a deep dive in the spring and see how this goes. So we have 5 undergrad classes, 40 sections, about 1,100 students, and that's across all 5 campuses. Our regional campus folks are really excited to pilot this. And then we have 4 graduate level classes, about 16 sections and 300 students. And we'll get feedback from over 50 instructors who are teaching these course sections in the spring. We have, in terms of feedback that we've gotten from our students who are in the pilot sections that we have this autumn, we've gotten great feedback. The undergraduate students who are in our ethics class, which is online, they love it. The only feedback I got that they had concerns about was there was one day where 2 students said they couldn't load their digital textbook, that when they tried to get on to read, it wouldn't load for them. But as they said to me, they said, the guy, and the guy being someone who's on the receiving end to fix problems for us, fixed it within a day. And so they said it wasn't a big issue. And the only other concern I heard from a student was that she couldn't get it to work on the browsers that she initially tried, but when she switched to Google Chrome, it worked immediately for her, excuse me. So we've had really good feedback from our students. They're excited. I'm excited to see what happens in the spring when we do this kind of a big rollout and across all 5 campuses, and see what feedback we get from our students. So we're going to survey them. We're going to survey instructors. We'll see what happens, and I hope our plan is to continue to move forward with this at a university level. Just think it's so important to make sure that our students have access and can afford what we're asking them to learn. So thank you for listening. If anyone wants to contact me in the spring to see how things are going, here's my contact information. Take care.